Good morning. It's Friday, September 27th. I'm Charles Perez.
And I'm Karen Zaklak. We, of course, are following this breaking news as Helene moves into our area. Lots of flash flood emergencies, evacuations in place right now.
I want to bring you up to date on these flash flood emergencies because they are priority one. The language in these flash flood warnings from the National Weather Service, catastrophic. We're getting reports from emergency managers and county sheriffs of significant life-threatening flooding.
All right now on News 13, Helene is here. You see it right there, taking you live to Clyde. The Pigeon River bursting its banks this morning. The headlines are the urgent risk for dangerous flooding, wind, and even potential rock slides.
In case you're wondering, all my equipment's down in this desk, so if I look down, I'm trying to work with the equipment here, but you can see the wind gusts right now. Let's look at the latest. So we're not getting, we just got a power hit here, so I can't see my computer right now. That's what it looks like in the studio. We've been seeing, gosh, we've probably had a dozen of those this morning.
All right, and News 13's Gracie Matisse has been braving those conditions for us all morning long. Gracie, please stay safe out there. You are near the Swannanoa River. Obviously, the sun coming up so we can see a little bit more now in the daylight hours. Talk to us about the levels, the rising levels of the Swannanoa River right now.
Yeah, it is getting dire here in Biltmore Village. We had to move really from the center of Biltmore Village over actually in the Hardee's parking lot here to try to get out of that rushing water and rising water that was there in the downtown streets. I just want to point you over here towards the Biltmore Estate entrance. That is All Souls Crescent. They are blocking that off. You can see the water has completely inundated these streets, and these streets are now blocked off. I mean, look at how fast that water is rushing over there.
Had to then try to get to work. So this was just off Tunnel Road, and this is the first thing I came across, and then very high winds, you know, really rough out there. This is what Megan was talking about, like 60, 70 mile per hour. This is near Mission, and emergency vehicles are out there. I'm trying to figure out a way to get down. I go down to Biltmore Village. Here we are right at the entrance of the Biltmore, and this is by the McDonald's.
Oh, goodness.
Then I went up to the bridge, and then you can see across the bridge area, this is Biltmore Village, where Gracie was. And then this is my colleague, Kevin Beatty, our assistant news director, shot that footage. This was he was trying to get into work. Of course, he was delayed because this is what so many of us were running into.
Here in Fletcher in Henderson County along Asheville Highway, take a look. You don't see a container moving like that across the road every day. And that is just how high the water has gotten. And this stretch right before the Fletcher welcome sign here, just not far from the Fletcher exit off I-26.
We are still feeling the impacts from Helene, even though the storm has moved out of western North Carolina. Well, take a look at this crazy video sent in by some News 13 viewers. Major flooding has washed out the road to the North Fork Reservoir near Black Mountain. The rushing waters are from the North Fork of the Swannanoa River.
And Helene's strong winds have also downed trees all across the mountains. They have damaged homes and blocked everything from back roads to interstates. And this evening, officials say more trees continue to come down, and they are urging everyone to stay off of the roads.
Let's head outside to a live look at the conditions in Asheville. This is from the Buncombe County Courthouse camera. While the weather has cleared, there are still significant problems. For that reason, the city of Asheville has imposed a curfew from 7:30 tonight to 7:30 in the morning. That's tonight and tomorrow night. Our crews have been out all day finding areas where the storm has had a heavy impact. We have team coverage to make you aware of all of the damage our area is seeing this evening.
And we will check in with those crews throughout the newscast. We'll also have a weather update from Chief Meteorologist Jason Boyer. And News 13's Jennifer Emmert joins us now in the studio with more on the ongoing service issues that many people are seeing with their phones. But first, the impacts of Helene have devastated some areas right here in Buncombe County.
And News 13's Taylor Thompson spent the day surveying the damage in the northern part of the county.
You guys, we are out here in North Buncombe County in Barnardsville. I just want you to take a look at this devastation here. We're on Sugar Creek Road, the bridge right here. I mean, it is just flowing, and it's actually come down from what it was earlier.
Yeah, this is South Tunnel Road, and you can see behind me the Swannanoa River has completely blown its banks, ripping onto South Tunnel Road. Where those storage containers are out in the distance, that is where South Tunnel Road intersects with Swannanoa River Road. We are about a mile from the Biltmore Village, which we also know is underwater. You can see a large law enforcement presence, fire, police. We have observed search and rescue swiftwater team go out onto the water several times. It is unclear who or what they are looking for. We've also seen several of these tall light poles come down in the middle of the running water. They're bringing down power lines, cell lines, as well as traffic lights. We spoke with a person nearby who was just amazed by what they had to see. Take a listen.
We didn't realize how an event like this would essentially cut the city off from being able to do transportation or being able to go get food or being able to go get medication, because it's like I have prescriptions at that Walgreens and now I can't get it, you know?
It's mind-blowing how much rain fell, Patrick, in 3 days. Since Wednesday, we saw storm total rainfall well over a foot in so many areas. In fact, doubling that at Mount Mitchell. They had over 24 inches officially there at the park. And then Busick, which sits at the foot or the base of the Black Mountains below Mount Mitchell in southern Yancey County, had almost 30 inches of rain. Asheville downtown, close to a foot at the airport. I'm about to show you some astonishing numbers here. 3-day total at the Asheville Regional Airport, almost 14 inches in every one of these days. The 4.09 on Wednesday, the 5.78 on Thursday, and the 4.11 inches that fell today. All daily records. We've never done that, never had 3 consecutive daily record rainfall totals that high.
Now this morning, full team coverage of the road to recovery after Helene. Flooding still an urgent concern. Water is beginning to recede in some places, but it will be days before rivers drop below flood stage. Power problems are widespread. If you're watching us without a generator or on your phone, you're one of the lucky ones. If you have cell service, that's even a luxury too. We're gathering new information on both situations as Buncombe County leaders prepare for a 10 a.m. update. We'll stream that for you at WLOS.com. Thank you for sticking with us. It is Saturday, September 28th. I'm Madison Smith.
And I'm Charles Perez. Helene has now passed, but this storm will leave its lasting effects and memories for quite some time.
My car's gone.
I'm okay. It's okay.
It was going to be devastating, and not just for a few, but for many. There was a lot of disbelief and also uncertainty and anxiety, really.
Friday morning, half asleep, I heard a crack in the backyard, and something just sounded different about that one as this tree just plummeted down on top of me and the ceiling started coming down. I was covered in insulation just as the entire house shook.
Yeah, and the whole back side of our house is completely destroyed. Our daughter's playset is completely destroyed.
When I got down to the end of my driveway, there were trees blocking my driveway at the road, and then the further you go up the road, there was more trees, and it just felt like it was hopeless. It felt like we were never going to get out.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for taking a moment to join us. News 13 is proud to be working with the Community Foundation of Western North Carolina to aid in our community's rebuilding. We spoke with the CEO about how donated dollars will be spent to help people right here in Western North Carolina.
Before we jump into the economy, I do want to know, this was considered an intimate policy discussion. Do you see yourself doing more of these types of events as compared to rallies?
Well, it's thousands of people in a beautiful place, and you had a lot of thousands of people outside, so we'll do a combination of both. This was really on the economy largely, and crime, but we enjoyed it, they enjoyed it, it's very important.
This evening, Susan Smith is sitting in prison after a parole board denies her wish for freedom just hours ago. Now, the case made global headlines.
And now you can relive every twist and turn through a News 13 documentary, Unthinkable, the Susan Smith story. Take a look.
Around mid-afternoon, investigators began cordoning off a portion of Highway 49 near John D. Long Lake, the place where Susan Smith claimed a carjacker forced her out of her car and drove off with her little boys.
We have not turned up the car as of yet. We have not turned up the suspect as of yet, and we have not had a confirmed sighting on the children having been dropped off anywhere. We haven't recovered them.
As late as yesterday morning, Susan Smith was on national TV pleading for her children's return.
In California, you could believe it, but not in Union.
She was
no.
stopped at this red light when the suspect, armed with a handgun, jumped in the passenger side of the car and ordered her to shut up and drive.
And we have a team of reporters covering every angle. Ann Emerson with the Sinclair station in Charleston is talking to a former South Carolina Attorney General.
And let's begin with investigative reporter Jennifer Emmert, who is live in Columbia. Jennifer.
People ask you where you're from, and you say, well, I'm from Union, South Carolina. Are you from where that girl killed her kids?
A manhunt is underway following a home invasion that took place in McDowell County last night. The sheriff's office says they are searching for 41-year-old Ryan Houston. News 13's Taylor Thompson is live at the sheriff's office now. And Taylor, what do we know?
Kimberly King has been following this story for us and brings us the latest.
The gates are now open at 41-year-old Ryan Ricky Houston's home in rural Weaverville. Earlier today, there were multiple sheriff's deputy cars out here in front of his home. It says Houston residents and also multiple cameras out here, along with signs to beware of dogs. News 13 rolled up just before 7 p.m. at Houston's large property along Ellerford Road, where 3 sheriff's deputies were parked. A 4th deputy also pulled up, but they stayed outside Houston's locked gates. Multiple police sources tell News 13 Ryan Houston, charged with attempted murder last year and car thefts and a home invasion this week, is believed to be the driver speeding down I-26 in the wrong direction in a white stolen sports car, colliding with the other car.
The fallout from a violent crime spree across 3 western counties highlights gaps in Buncombe County's pretrial services.
A News 13 investigation uncovers 2 employees have resigned in the wake of the Ryan Houston's path of chaos. It has also prompted a change in county policy.
Investigative reporter Jennifer Emmert uncovers new details and why violations show Houston should have been pulled back into court, which may have prevented this from happening.
Hey, I just witnessed a car hit the medium on the highway going I-40 east.
Go ahead and start me, EMS unit, I-40 eastbound. That's 75, just before the 75. Rolled up on a 1050. Just rolled up on it. I got a female subject here. Male subject just took off on foot.
It's new audio from the night Ryan Houston fled. Medics found Melanie Crisp stabbed and dying in Houston's passenger seat. Houston had ditched the phone tied to his electronic monitoring before authorities.
What would you respond to the accusation that you have a history of lower bonds or?
Well, that would be impossible because I don't set bonds. So the bonds are set before they get to Superior Court. So the only thing that the DA came to me for was, and you'll get the transcript, you'll see that, was this hearing in which the DA did not ask for a motion to increase his bond. So if they wanted his bond increase, and I've had those cases before, where the DA's office will file a motion to have the bond increase because it was set previously, always get sets at the district court level. They can add new charges, they're felonies, they get bumped up to Superior Court, and they may say, we've learned additional information, we'd like the court to consider raising that bond. They have to file that motion with the court to have that done. No motion was ever put before me.
We continue to follow Ryan Houston's path of chaos and violence that left 2 people dead, plus himself.
All of this began more than a year ago when Houston was charged with attempted murder for shooting a deputy outside of the Buncombe County Magistrate's office. Our team coverage continues as we answer your questions about what led up to the 2 fatal incidents last week.
We begin with News 13's Jennifer Emmert with more background on why Houston was given pretrial release.
A lot of viewers and even law enforcement have questioned why Ryan Houston was able to have a chance at posting bond and allowed out of jail on pretrial release. I spent the day looking for answers. In May of 2023, Houston was charged with 2 counts of attempted murder for the shooting outside the magistrate's office. Back then, North Carolina law allowed for bond to be withheld if someone was charged with first-degree murder, meaning a deliberate killing. While a high bond was set in Houston's case, he was able to meet the requirements for release despite concerns of law enforcement.
It's hard for me to understand why he was out, why he had why there was a bond after shooting a deputy sheriff and attempting to kill someone else. I'm having a hard time understanding why he was out.
Buncombe County's district attorney recently discussed the issue on a local radio show. Todd Williams pointed out the district attorney's office had also advocated that Houston's bond be revoked and made attempts to have it modified. Changes to the law with the Pretrial Integrity Act now force judges instead of magistrates to set conditions of pretrial release for serious felonies. We continue to ask questions about Houston's pretrial release, and at 6, I'll explain more about the bond process.
The response is 500 Winding Gap Road, Trails, Carolina, 12-year-old male.
It's the recent incident that brought wilderness therapy into the spotlight.
Units responding. I've lost contact with the caller. Possible full arrest.
The death of a 12-year-old boy at a local camp, Trails, Carolina.
We didn't know the time of day, what day it was, where we were going next.
Raising concerns about the children's mental health and the methods of treatment.
I can't imagine being taken out of my home in the middle of the night and that having a positive impact on my initial experience with the program.
News 13's special on wilderness therapy during Mental Health Awareness Month starts now. On February 3rd, tragedy struck at Trails, Carolina. That's when a 12-year-old boy was found dead in his sleeping bag.
And here's what we know about the investigation into that child's death so far.
The first night at Trails, Carolina, all campers are required to sleep in a bivvy wrapped in a tarp that restricts movement.
Station 8 medic 4 CPR is being given at this time.
That's where they found a 12-year-old New York boy unresponsive at 7:45 on the morning of February 3rd.
Said it. They woke up, subject was still in the bed, unresponsive.
Well, inside the Team Echo Aquarium and Shark Lab on Main Street in Hendersonville, staff are waiting for a miracle. As News 13's Justin Berger reports, Charlotte, the inexplicably pregnant stingray, is due to give birth.
1 in a million.
Charlotte, the 12 to 14-year-old stingray, is pregnant in a tank with no male stingrays. At first, Brenda Raymer, the founder of Team Echo, didn't believe it.
People have written and said, well, they can hold male sperm, for years. And I'm like, she's never been around a male until we put those 2 little boys in here.
That's when she noticed the bite marks on Charlotte's body, a habit of mating sharks. Meet Mo and Larry, one of whom could be the father of Charlotte's pups.
Do you want the net or you just want to?
I can just
bring them up?
Bring them up.
Okay.
Mo and Larry were thought to be too young to be able to reproduce. We'll soon find out if that's true.
We're all kind of wondering her progress, asking if we've heard anything.
Now millions of people are wondering the same thing across the country.
There's a mystery unfolding at an aquarium in Hendersonville, North Carolina, a biological mystery.
Jimmy Kimmel, ABC News, and TikTok are just some of the platforms talking about Charlotte's mysterious pregnancy. And those working in downtown Hendersonville are hearing about it.
The last 2 weekends have been a lot busier than I feel like we would normally be this time of year. I've had people from Ohio, from Florida, all kinds of places to come here.
When it gets busy, we're like, oh, people must be coming to see Charlotte again.
And Charlotte's 15 minutes of fame couldn't have come at a better time.
Especially last year was really one of the worst years I think most of us on Main Street here have had.
What's usually a slow period before tourist season has Hendersonville business booming.
We begin with news breaking overnight. Charlotte the stingray is dead. Staff at Team Echo Aquarium and Shark Lab sharing the sad update on Facebook only hours ago. You can guarantee we will be checking in with them in the day ahead here.
Now, it was back in February the aquarium made the exciting announcement Charlotte was pregnant. Despite having no males in the tank with her, her story becoming an instant hit around the world.
Caught on video, a group of people pulling tiny bear cubs from a tree. Take a look. It happened near some apartments in Buncombe County.
Now, North Carolina wildlife officers responded to that situation.
News 13's Taylor Thompson has their reaction to what happened and their warning to others.
In order for humans and wildlife to be able to coexist here in the mountains, experts say it's vital that incidents like the one seen in this video do not ever happen.
She's holding the bear.
You can see the alarming video here of these individuals pulling the cubs from the tree and then holding one of them to take a selfie. Ashley Hobbs with NC Wildlife says this video was reported to them on Tuesday evening.
An apartment complex out in the Fairview area. That officer did ask me to assist him in response to that, so I did get on site and I saw the cub.
While multiple cubs are seen on camera, when Hobbs arrived, she says there was only one still there, adding that the cub was wet, cold, and had been alone for quite some time.
Pretty traumatic to be pulled out of a tree like that.
Thankfully, the cub was not harmed and is now in a rehab facility.
Also earlier this year, we brought you the story of a bear snatched out of a tree by some folks looking to take selfies. Well, this morning, we're excited to update you on the well-being of that cute little bear. Officials say the cub has safely returned to the wild. Wildlife officials say the cub was fitted with a tracking collar so they can continue to keep a watchful eye from afar.
Well, that was quite a year. In 2024, the WLOS viewing community faced extraordinary challenges. But in spite of it all,
you helped save hundreds of lives when you donated blood in Operation Blood Drive.
You gave blankets to the cold and less fortunate and coats to our underprivileged friends.
You gave food to children left hungry while not being in school. You gave books and raised money for literacy and donated mountains of toys for kids.
You walked, raising funds and awareness for mental health.
You adopted and cared for dozens of pets, and you contributed to health and environmental causes.
And when the rain came, you got to work, and you're still working.
Cleaning up, making food, building shelter, making life a little better for our neighbors.
Western North Carolina, you are amazing. For all you give, for all you do, thank you.